Hi, welcome to videomathlessons.com. Tonight is a Algebra 2 and Trigonometry quick lesson. This is lesson number 18, Trigonometry, exact value. So when they say exact value, well, what do they mean? Well, usually they want you to express or evaluate this function in radical form. They want a radical. Now, it could be a regular number, a fraction or something, but a lot of times it'll be a radical. So when you do these problems, you have to follow a couple of steps. So the first step I like to do is I like to sketch 120 degrees. So I'm going to sketch it. It's going to be something like this. That's 120 degrees. Well, from here, you need the reference angle. So this reference angle, now remember, a straight line is 180. So I want this angle right here is 60. That's my reference angle. So sometimes you'll see, they'll say, express tan 120 as the function of an acute angle. They really mean this reference angle thing. So tan 120, okay, I can express it as something to do with tan 60 because it's something to do with the reference angle. Now we're not done yet with that. So when I look at this, I got to think about what kind of answer should I have for tangent in the second quadrant. Now, if it's in the second quadrant, sine is positive, right? So it'll be sine and cosecant positive. Everybody else is negative in the second quadrant. So this tangent would be negative in this quadrant. So if I go up here, I have negative tan 60. Now, I could check this on my calculator. I need to fix my mode to make sure I'm in degree mode. And if I type in tan 120, so tan 120, I hit enter, I get a negative decimal. And if I type in negative tan 60, I should have the exact same weird decimal. So that's negative tan 60. And so these are equivalent. Well, that's not helping me because this is not evaluate the exact value. So I have to do this for real now. So now 60 is one of my special triangles. So we have two triangles we have to remember. So I got a 30, 60, 90. All right, so that's a 30, 60, 90. I'm going to label this triangle. So if I'm standing here at 30, this would be the opposite. This would be the hypotenuse. This would be the adjacent. It's 1, 2, rad 3. And that's a standard form. Depends on who your teacher is. Sometimes I know some people put fractions for these things. I know other teachers that just they give you a big chart. You're supposed to memorize them. Some people memorize the decimal equivalents. However they want to do it is, just make sure you can do it some way. Now, if I'm going to be at 60, though, I'm up at this angle upstairs here. Tangent is opposite, so it's SOHCAHTOA. So make sure you know the basics. SOHCAHTOA. Okay, so if I'm up here, this adjacent really the opposite side. So it's rad 3 over 1. Rad 3 over 1. And we already said it's supposed to be negative, so it's negative rad 3 over 1. Let me check that. I'm going to go with my calculator, press negative rad 3. Now, I don't have to put a 1 on the bottom because it's, rad 3 over 1 is this. But, if it was something else, make sure you close the radical. That's what I want to show you that. That's the answer. So, what's the exact value of tan 120? Negative rad 3. All right. The first is the worst. It goes a little quicker the second time. So, let's try it again. So, it says, find the value of sine 135 in radical form. This also means exact value, right? We mentioned that before. Step 1, sketch 135. So that's 135. Step 2, find the reference angle. Reference angle is 45. Now, sine 135 has something to do with that reference angle. So sine 135 equals something sine 45. Now we go back to our ASTC, all students take class, ASTC. In the second quadrant, sine's positive. So this in the second quadrant would be positive. This is the other special triangle we were talking about before, We did the first one up here. Now here's this one. This is a 45, 45, 90. And it's a 1, 1, rad 2. So when we say what's the sine of 45? The sine of 45 would be 1 over rad 2. And we don't leave it that way. We have to rationalize it. And that's how you get rad 2 over 2. And in this quadrant, it's positive. You don't need to put the positive. But that's it. I would definitely check these. So I type in sine 135. Hit enter. And I know 0.707 is the rad 2 over 2, but we'll, just, model appropriate behavior. So I'll show the whole thing. Rad 2, close, divide by 2. And this is how you check your work. And I get the same answer. So it is rad 2 over 2. Let's try it again. What's the value of cosine negative 240? Now, listen, you don't get this question wrong. You type it in a calculator. So you press cosine negative 240. And I'm already in degree mode, so I'm pretty safe. I get negative 0.5. There's my answer. All right. Now, how do we do it for real? So let's do it for real. What if it wasn't multiple choice? I'm going to sketch 240. Now, when you do negative, you go backwards. So it's 0, negative 90, negative 180, negative 270. It's in here somewhere. So that's negative 240. Now, that's 180, right? So what you have to do is you have to find this angle right here, this reference angle. Now, you can use a calculator if you need to. So you do negative 240 or 240 minus 180. You don't even need the negatives. You get 60. The reference angle is 60. So in this problem, cosine negative 240 has something to do with the cosine of 60. We're going to check our ASTC. In this quadrant, cosine is negative. You get negative. Now, I already typed in cosine negative 240 is negative 0.5. Well, if I type in negative cosine 60, it should be the same thing. And it is. So we're going the right way. I make my special triangle. I generally put the 30 downstairs. You can do it however you want. Now remember, cosine, now I'm standing here, up here, right? Cosine, adjacent, 1 over hypotenuse, 2. 1/2. Don't forget the negative, bring it down. And you definitely type it in a calculator to check this. Anything you can physically type into a calculator to check, you check. Like this one, number 4. I could do this whole this problem in a calculator. Now I'm going to do it the real way, just to show. So let's take a look. What's nice is 60 and 60 are both first quadrant, so they're both positive, right? They're both in the first quadrant, the A quadrant. And I have a triangle here for 60, so I'm just going to use this triangle. So the sine is 60. 60 is up here. Opposite, rad 3 over 2. So the sine of 60 is rad 3 over 2. Times cosine 60. We just did that. Cosine, adjacent, 1, hypotenuse 2. Times 1 over 2. Multiply. When you do radicals and you do fractions, top times top, bottom times bottom. So radical 3 times 1 is rad 3. 2 times 2 is 4. The answer is rad 3 over 4. And you could check this on a calculator and it works out. Well, that's it. Hopefully this helps working with trig exact values. Hit up to the website and check out the other videos. Thanks. Bye.